Hey everybody, it's Rosh. Just wanted to talk tonight a little bit about the 49ers and all the hype and the craze that's going on when it comes to the team. There's been obviously headline after headline with this team over the last few weeks. And I think it really all started with this massive trade, right? The Niners send the 12th pick, a 2022 and 23 first rounder, and a third rounder next year over to Miami in exchange for the third overall pick in the 2021 draft. And let's just be honest, as a Niners fan, there was extreme excitement, right? Like I was ballistic. I was going through my mind over and over and over. What are the possible scenarios now for this team that is just 2 years away from where we were 10 minutes away from winning the Super Bowl? When a team that you care about makes a splashy move like that, you're going to get all types of opinions. And so I've literally spent the last few weeks reading the opinions of so many different people, and it's just come to the point to where I've formed many of my own opinions, many of my own ideas. And I think the main reason why I wanted to get on this channel and start a channel and start some sort of stream here is so that I could share my own thoughts and bounce them off the world out there and see what you guys think and see what the world thinks. Because I know that there's many 49er fans that are going through what I'm going through. There's many 49er fans that have the same questions that I have and that are so excited about this draft that's coming up on the 29th. And it feels like it's so far away, right? Like I'm counting down days, sometimes hours, it seems like, because of the obsession here, right? My wife and my kids probably think I've lost it because it's I got my earphone in half the time listening to the NFL radio and listening to the opening drive and then moving the chains every evening. Those are great channels that I listen to with great information and great insight, and shout out to all those guys on those channels that do a superb job at sharing NFL information for the fanatics like me. I think the main thing is that I really want to have a voice and share my voice, not for any particular one reason. I love the team. I love the direction of the team. I love talking about football. I know there's a lot of people who share that same passion and desire. I hope to cross paths with more people who share this desire. So anyways, getting back to this trade, I really feel like the 49ers are in a really good position, despite giving away a couple first rounders. I mean, if all things work out, let's just be, honest. If all things work out and they get the guy that they want, and the guy ends up being a stud in a couple years, no one's going to be talking about what they gave up as in draft capital here. That's not really the issue that I'm looking at here. I'm more concerned right now with the amount of scrutiny, right? Like there's always going to be opinions about any one of these prospects. There's that rumor that came out about how they didn't even approach the Jets, and obviously I don't know if that's 100% true. That seems to be the truth. That they didn't approach Saleh and try to go the route of trying to get that number 2 pick. Obviously, they must feel that, in my opinion, they must feel that number 2 pick is already spoken for, that the Jets are not selling that pick. And they, by trading Sam Darnold, obviously are going to be taking the quarterback of the future to be, at the helm in New York. So, I think that there's so many different ways to look at the aggressive move here by Kyle. There's speculation. There's rumors out there that that Kyle actually approached some of the other teams at 4, 5, 6, tried to make a trade to get into those positions, but wasn't able to do that successfully. So, got to 3, and realistically now he's in the driver's seat to one of these quarterbacks, and we're gonna list them, and we're gonna break them down over the episodes that I'm going to continue to put out over the next few weeks as we approach the draft. But right now, as it stands, it looks like Trevor Lawrence is a consensus number 1 overall pick. Everybody has known for years to come he is the second coming, and he is the guy, right? He's the guy that's going to take over in Jacksonville, and he's going to hopefully lead that franchise into some sort of success. They've been down in the dumps for a long time. Particularly, I really feel that Jacksonville is in a good position with Urban Meyer. I know he's a very successful college coach, and a lot of people will have the opinion of, hey, a college coach is not going to necessarily translate to the NFL. Well, Bill Walsh was a famous college coach, and he did great in the NFL, and he went back. So, I think that for every individual, they're going to walk a different path. And so I don't really want to pass any sort of judgment. I do think Urban Meyer is going to do well in Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a fantastic NFL quarterback. So that's the consensus number 1 overall pick. And I think he's been that for years. So moving on to number 2 now, the Jets aren't moving like we just discussed and I had just said. But it seems like all arrows are pointing to New York taking Zach Wilson at number 2. Now, I personally think that Zach's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I've seen the breakdowns. I've watched his games. The arm talent is there. Like, there's no question about it. At the end of the day, he did only have that one spectacular year. At the end of the day, I'm not in a position to really say whether or not he for sure is going to be a make or break. I mean, he could be a boom or bust as well. But the Jets seem to be locked in, and a lot of people keep talking about him being that guy at number 2. Now, as far as I can remember, Lawrence and Fields have been the number 1 and 2. They're the guys that everyone has always talked about. Those are the guys that coming out of even seniors in high school to college to now, it's been a battle of who's going to be that guy, who's going to be that champion, who is going to take the throne between the two of them. And now you get these guys like Trey Lance, another great prospect that's going to be one of the 5 I'm going to talk about. And you got Mac Jones now, who comes out and he has a stellar year at Alabama, just lights it up over there. But, everyone's pulling the card of, hey, it wasn't Mac Jones, it was all his surroundings, right? Like it's you hear that all the time with guys out of Alabama. I'm not going to argue it. I know they have a great program, great system, but let's be honest, you don't know. We don't know what Mac Jones is going to be in the NFL. We're all guessing at the end of the day. It's going to darken this screen down a little bit here. So I think that the main thing here is that when you get to number 2, everyone's talking about Zach Wilson. So let's assume he goes number 2. Now, sitting at 3, we'd be left with Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and Trey Lance. Okay? Of the 3 guys there, based on ratings over the last few years, it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields is the guy. There's no question about it. The guy is built for the NFL. He's got the physical traits. He's got the mental game. He's got the experience on the big stage. He holds the ability to come in and be a week 1, day 1 starter, in my opinion. And if it is Fields, then Jimmy cannot be the starter week 1. In my opinion, Jimmy is not the guy. If you bring in Fields, he's starting week 1. You need to go through a few growing pains with him early, but he will end up turning a leaf, and he will lead this team deep back to the Super Bowl, I believe. Honestly, I think that this is a guy that can come in and he can take this team to the Super Bowl. That's his abilities. I do feel almost the same way about the other two quarterbacks, but not quite with Trey Lance. Trey Lance took the year off. Makes me a little bit, it's as it is, it was a COVID year. So things were different across the football world, period. Even in the NFL without fans, it changes it changed the dynamic of the entire league year. So I don't really want to speculate and say that Trey Lance, just because he had the year off, is a huge question mark. It's not just that. It's the fact that he had a year off, and outside of that, he only had that 1 year. And Mac Jones is kind of same in that same boat here with the 17 starts. So I think that between the two of them, you really gotta dig deeper into the analytics, right? The ceiling and the floor talk that I keep hearing about. One's got the higher ceiling, one's got the higher floor. Which one do you pick? And these are the circles that are going around my head. This is constant right here, right? And I just don't know what the right pick is. My gut tells me it's got to be Justin Fields. If Fields is on the board at 3, the Niners pick him at 3. And I think that's a safe take. I do kind of feel that way with Mac Jones. And I hear a lot of it right now. When Mac Jones started getting talked about at number 3 to the Niners, the Twitter, the world blew up. My goodness, I couldn't believe the things people are saying. Let's be honest. 77% completion rate, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns. He lit it up, man. And he didn't have everyone Tua had. Let's be honest. He played with less than Tua. And Tua was the guy. Everyone was hyping him up. And I know Tua brings that running dual threat ability that Mac Jones isn't really known for. But Mac Jones has incredible footwork. He is a great decision maker. And honestly, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a guy that can navigate the pocket, who can make the throws on time, who can work through his reads, who knows his progressions, who knows and understands. He has that FIQ, that football IQ, right? He's got it right here. I think Mac Jones has that. And so I don't want to take that away from him, because that's a trait. That's a gift in itself. And you see it. You've seen it with Drew Brees. You've seen it with Phillip Rivers. You've seen it with Tom Brady. Of course, Tom Brady is he's the king of the castle here, okay? He is the processing machine. I don't think anybody is a smarter quarterback than Tom Brady. He knows it, he sees it, and just gets it done. So, I'm not saying that Mac Jones is going to be Tom Brady. I'm not saying Mac Jones is going to be any of those guys. I'm saying that without seeing Mac Jones in an NFL uniform, I really don't want to pass harsh critical judgment on the guy. He played well, and it doesn't matter where you played. When you put up those numbers, they're good. It doesn't matter what your last name is. Those are great football numbers. So, I think that's kind of where I stand. Trey Lance, I don't really have a solid opinion about him. But what's interesting to me about this all, and why I really feel that Zach Wilson will end up at number 2, is that you look at the pro days and how they've worked out. Kyle comes out in that interview and he talks about how he wanted to come out with his pick. He wanted to come out and talk about him moving up, and they wanted to make this move and be out in the open because he didn't want to have to hide anymore. He didn't want to have to make moves behind closed doors. John and Kyle have done a fantastic job at keeping things on the hush. They have run that franchise. extremely well, in my opinion. You know what? Kyle's record there isn't a winning record. I understand that. There's a lot of harsh criticism that's going to come his way if he doesn't put out a winning season this year. You know, they did a great job in free agency. Okay, let's be honest. Coming into free agency this year with the amount of free agents the 49ers had, how many people felt super comfortable with the salary cap dropping that we were going to be able to retain guys the way we did? I mean, I was nervous about it. I had all these thoughts going through my mind. Hey, who's going to be the guy that's going to get cut off here? Who's going to be that guy, that monumental guy, that guy that we need in the locker room, the guy that we need on the field? Who's going to be that guy that's not going to be re-signed? You know, and with the Trent Williams thing, I was sitting there thinking, man, is he playing us or what? Because I was just waiting for that guy to sign, man. And you know what? His contract doesn't matter how big it was. Right now, we are in a position to win. You got to bring that guy back. You got to bring that guy back. And they did the right thing. Parag and the team, those guys did an excellent job at bringing back the key players that are going to be contributors, who were contributors, who are going to be contributors in this next run that we're going to make. Because believe me, the 49ers are not going to be a pushover team in 2021. If you watched them last year, plagued with injuries, I think one of the most, I read an article, I don't remember the details, but plagued with injuries, one of the most injured teams in sports in over a decade or something ridiculous. But the fight, the drive, 6 wins in a year like that, with Mullins, Beathard, and Jimmy rotating in and out of the lineup, no solid receiving corps at any point of the year. Kittle's out. Bosa gets the ACL early. Like, how devastating was that? And then Solly, and now he's in Vegas, and who knows what Solly will do there. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get into that right now, but you know, bringing back Verrett was awesome. I think the loyalty there was really key. We were good to him. He came back, and I think he's going to ball out again. Mosley, you know, I think he's going to be a better corner now in this coming year than he has been. You know, K1, you know, we got Jaquiski Tart back, and I know that's not a big deal, but the under-the-radar signing that I saw at that position too was Tavon Wilson. I mean, that guy is a football player, man. He's a Patriots guy. He's been in the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl. I think he's gonna compete for a spot in that secondary somewhere. I wouldn't shock me, is all I'm saying. You know, just to bring back Juice. Come on, man. Everybody wants some juice, man. Right? So I look at the free agency as a win. And the way that they approached free agency was, this is a team that can win right now. They are not a rebuilding team. We are in a position to do something great this year. You know, we're going to bounce back to the playoffs for sure. I am so confident about that. So, you know, if you look at the other teams in the top 10, and I'm just being straight up honest, if you look at our starting 22, okay, and you look at the starting 22 of the other teams in the top 10, I'm telling you, they don't match up with us. The 49ers, even with Jimmy at QB, we're the best team. We have no business picking at 3. We had to move there, but we weren't a top 10. We weren't even there. We were sitting at 12. So I think that's something really important to remember. When we're picking at number 3 and we're in the position that we're in already on our roster, I think that we can really make, you know, the quarterback that we do pick, he's going to be really comfortable in our situation. You know, he's going to come into a really good team, a really well-built roster, good coaching, good culture. I think that that's a huge benefit. Very, very, it's not often that a really good quarterback that early in the draft is getting drafted to a really good position. Most of the time when you're getting picked in the top 3, you're going to a garbage team. You're going to a rebuild team. That's why you get guys like Darnold who come in and then they get tossed out after a couple of years. I don't think that's the case with our QB. The guy we're picking right now, he's going to be our quarterback for the next decade plus. And so I think that's the hope that Niner fans have to hold on to. You got to hold on to the fact that we are going to pick a guy and he's going to be the face of our franchise for the future. And this is not disrespect to Jimmy. Jimmy came in and he came in with a bang with those 5 wins. And then he came in and he took this team to the Super Bowl. But 50% of the games, roughly, that you've only played, that's not going to cut it. Not with the roster we have. Kyle knows it. John knows it. They know it. That's why they did it. That's why they were able to just move up like that. Because we're built to win. And so I think that, pause button for a second. Pause button. I just want to refocus here, okay? So I'm getting into these quarterbacks. I'm getting into free agency. I don't want to jump all over the page. I just want to highlight the fact that we made this enormous trade. And something that I think gets lost and mixed up in it is the financial ramifications of Jimmy's contract. It's about $50 million over the next 2 years. That's a lot of cake, all right? That's a lot of cake for a guy that is not always on the field. And so when we draft this quarterback, let's just say it's Mac Jones, just to have fun with everybody, all right? Everybody's argument is, hey, you know what? Mac Jones is not that much better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, Mac Jones might be a lot better than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's an assumption. You don't know that. You cannot say that he's going to be better or worse. You don't know. He could be. But the fact is let's just say he's just as good. Okay? Let's just say he's just as good. Jimmy took us to a Super Bowl. So Mac Jones, if he's just as good, can take us to a Super Bowl at a fraction of the cost. So, there's financial ramifications here. There's a lot of things that are playing into this decision. We're going to save some money here when we move on from Jimmy. That money is going to pay Fred. It's going to pay guys that need to get paid. It's going to help pay Bosa. And trust me, Bosa's going to be fine. And Bosa's going to come back. I believe Bosa's going to be fine. I think he's going to recover fine. Von Miller, his pressure rate and his sack rate, it went up after his ACL back like 7-8 years ago. So I'm not concerned about Bosa's ACL destroying his career. I think he can really bounce back. And I think he can do a really good job for our D-line. And I think he's going to be on our roster for a long time. And that's what I really hope for. So I'm just going to speak that out into existence as well, even if I do have a little bit of doubt. So we trade up. We have a great free agency. Great job by our head office, front office. They're fantastic. We position ourselves by moving on from Jimmy financially. We're going to position ourselves for the future, which is the key here. New QB, long-term, future, right? We still have, the beauty of this trade too, is that we still have 9 picks. This doesn't affect our draft capital this year. So we can draft for depth and really build our roster. It's a really positive thing in my opinion. And I think that with all of this stuff here, we want to come back to a couple key points. None of us know who's going to be there at 3 for sure. We don't know. But I don't know if I mentioned it or if I bunny trailed on you guys about the pro days. So Kyle and Shanny go to the pro day for Mac Jones same day as Justin Fields. Justin Fields pro day, he's going to do another one on Wednesday. So that would be the 14th. So April the 14th. Happy birthday, Mom. That's my mom's birthday. So April the 14th is going to be Justin Fields' second pro day. Kyle and Lynch supposed to show up. I think that's going to be great because I read a report today that the 49ers are actually going to be putting together some of the drills and stuff like that in that pro day. So I mean that's a positive sign for Justin Fields. His QB coach isn't going to be running the session. It's actually going to be NFL coaches running it. And so that's good. And then you're going to have Trey Lance's pro day on Monday the 19th. And so that's another pro day that's going to be run in the same way. The QB coach is not going to be running that session. It's going to be run by NFL coaches. So that's another positive thing. So the way I'm looking at it right now is that these two guys are putting on a second pro day. Mac Jones put on a second pro day. But Zach Wilson didn't. And I haven't heard anything about him potentially putting another one on. So my question is that some sort of hint? Is that some sort of clue to the fact that Zach Wilson has already been told by the Jets that they're taking him? Or the Jets are taking him and that's just the way that it is and there's nothing else to it? Like, I mean, I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. But I think that's something to really pay attention to. These are the finer details that are going through my mind. The attention to detail, you know? That's what's going to get us a clear answer to who the guy is that's going to rep these colors. Hey, anyone see Peter Schrager on GMFB? I love that show, by the way. Shout out to GMFB. Kay Adams, Kyle, Nate, and Peter. You guys are the bomb, man. Like, best morning show in the history of morning shows, man. You've made mornings amazing, regardless of what you have to wake up to. GMFB is where it's at. So Peter Schrager did the Trust These Colors thing. The segment about Trust These Colors. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you could probably just YouTube it and check it out. But Peter just had that little hype video, man. It was amazing. Schrager's amazing. So, you know, I just wanted to make sure that the attention to details, that's where I was. The attention to details is where I really want to stay when it comes to figuring out who the next QB is going to be in these colors. Because I want to figure it out. Like, I know that there's 16 days till the draft, but like 16 days of analyzing who's the QB, what's going to happen, what's this, what's that. I'm a fanatic. Right? If the 49ers, if there's anything 49ers going on, I want to be involved. I want to know what's going on. I'm all in for this team. I haven't missed a game I don't miss games, period. You know, and I really, really, really care about what happens to this franchise. You know, I'm not, I'm a family man. I'm married. I got 3 daughters. I got a great life, you know. But football is my passion. I love football. And this is a really exciting time to be a 49ers fan. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter how long it's been and since we've won. The fact is it's 2021. And we're about to draft a franchise quarterback in the first 3 picks. Pick number 3 in the draft for the first time since the last time we drafted a QB. Y'all remember, it's Alex Smith. That's a long time ago. I'm telling you. What a time to be alive if you're a 49ers fan. So I'm going to continue to make episodes. I'm going to continue to talk football, talk Niners, talk draft. One thing I really want to focus on is to take my mind off of the QB at 3 for a little while and maybe talk about some of these other prospects that we could target in rounds 2 to 7, because there's some really, really good football players in this draft. And because of last year, I think that it's been harder maybe to analyze some of the prospects, and some of the guys that are first round talents might slide into later rounds. So I just wonder who else the Niners might target later on. So these are things that are going on in my mind. And so just to take some of the obsession away from this quarterback situation, I think my next episode, I'm going to talk about a couple of the other guys that I'd like to see the 49ers target in the middle rounds of the draft. There's some good day 2 picks out there. I'm not going to say any names right now, but I'm extremely excited about this draft. And I think if you're a Niners fan, if you're a football fan, period, you should be excited about the draft too. It's been a really, really, really rough year and a bit with COVID. And you know what? Last year's draft was interesting with the way that they did it. And I'm glad they're doing it the way that it normally is, because I missed it. It was a cool experience and everything, but it's been a hard year for everybody. And you know, just keep plugging in. Keep plugging into the things that you love. Keep plugging into your family, your loved ones. Plug into your hobbies. Find joy in the small things in life. Go hard every day and try to be content with what you have. It's been really hard on everybody. And, you know, we can't wait for this COVID stuff to pass. All of us are waiting for it to pass and for life to go back to some sort of normalcy. So look forward to the draft. You know, it's going to be a really, really rocking night. We're going to get some food going. We're going to get some hors d'oeuvres and some drinks, and we're going to hang out, and it's going to be a great night. We're going to wait for that pick to be announced. And with the 3rd overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select, I have no idea, but we're going to find out April 29th. So that's it for now. Like this page, subscribe, do whatever you can to help me get this information out. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about other topics next time I'm on. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Peace.